so we can try to cater our box to you if we can find a Funko Pop that's similar. What?
We have to redo that.
Why?
It's okay. It's not a big deal. It's not important.
What's the matter?
It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Hey, that was a good practice take. That was good times, guys.
Oh my God! What did we do wrong?
The mics weren't in the right order. They weren't on.
Who's the technical guy who's supposed to double check this for all in the room?
Jeremy, and he hasn't been here in a long time.
And action! Now, that's what we get. 300 subscribers. What you get ready. Brace yourselves, folks. You're gonna what?
No, are you me?
Court.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Dude, amateur over here.
So do the action again, because that's been off the second time. So we just gotta do it one more.
Oh Lord, help me, Jesus.
Damn it.
Dear Lord, baby. I was like, why something they look wrong? Oh shit.
My goodness gracious.
Look.
Oh!
Hey, for real though, do a
Great!
Hey, for real though,
What?
you should do a clap again. Alright, I am sure this time everything is working.
He's looking.
Yeah.
I am sure.
Yes! To be fair.
I'm gonna take it up to the next level.
No, but hang on, but we have the cold open. Bam! Nailed it! Welcome everyone to another episode of the world's greatest news and reviews.
Giving you opinions about nerd stuff is our superpower.
I'm Captain Mal.
And I'm your boy T. Crawler.
And I am Weapon 2. And much like the highly acclaimed adventurers that we refer to as Rick and Morty, we're getting ready to open up this interdimensional multiverse. The three of us are going to call episode 40. How's that, folks?
And for real this time, as you just saw in our cold open, you're welcome. We've been having some technical difficulties, but we're here, and we're bringing you episode 40, the Big 40. And in this episode, we're going to talk about some upcoming movie trailers, talk about the Marvel series What If, and give our official review for Shang Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. But first, for the first time ever, Weapon 2, say what you got to say.
Boy, let me tell you here, people. Let me tell you what I got to say here. We are trying to increase our subscribership to the number of 300 subscribers. We want to reach this goal. And what we're going to do for you is you're going to get free stuff, people. You're going to get things for free, cool things from us for free. What we need you to do first is go to the most recent episode of this podcast, which is probably going to be this one. And we need you to subscribe. Okay, subscribe, and in the comments section of this podcast, we need you to put your name. When you have your name, then we know who we're looking for. We're going to do a random drawing of every single person who's ever subscribed to our channel. You're always, every time, entered into this drawing. Now, we need your name because we need to contact you somehow, and we need to get an address to send the stuff to. And we want to know what size shirt you wear. Why, do you ask? Because what you're going to get as one of the things in your box is a t-shirt of our logo, TWG. 4 to choose from. That's one of them. And next, you're going to tell us what character you like. Why are you going to tell us this? I'll tell you why. Because I am going to put an original drawing done by me in that box of the character you like, guaranteed. Now, number 2, we're going to put in a Funko Pop from Everett, Washington, locally sourced. Now, free range, 100% organic, and grass fed, and we are going to try to find one that's your character. We can't guarantee it. I don't make Funko Pops, but we can try to find one of the character that you like, and we're going to put in some comic books, folks, and we're going to try to find some that are about the character and things you love. We're going to also throw in some other things that we can find, toys, trinkets, all kinds of other things that are cool. We're going to put them in that box. We're going to mail them to you. You can open it up. You can enjoy it. And if you feel like you want to send us some pictures of you opening it up, or a video even, send it to us, and we'll include it. We're going to also include pictures of the people that we've sent at our number 100 level, at our number 200 level, and you will be at our number 300 level. And we're going to keep going at that for a while. Now, did you have anything you wanted to add, Captain Mal?
No, we're doing great this time. Keep going.
So, that's what we want you to do.
We
Like
got
and
past
subscribe.
the save point.
Share this information about the giveaway with anybody else you want to share it with that you like or don't like. Anybody. Anyways, they'll have the same opportunity as you to get cool free things. I'll also post it on our Facebook page, as I do intermittently. Back to you, Captain Mal.
Nicely done, Weapon 2. That was awesome. Yeah, moral of the story, like and subscribe. Let us give you some free stuff. But okay, let's jump into some trailers. And since T. Crawler remembered that he works here, we will start with the Spider-Man, what is it, No Way Home trailer, teaser trailer, the drop teaser trailer, even though it's 3 minutes long. Lots of really cool stuff was shown, but easy, nice and easy, lemon squeezy. Why don't you tell us, as our resident Spider-Man super fan, what did you think about this trailer?
Oh, I'm just blown away. Like I know I'm a super fanboy of Spider-Man. I get that, but this particular trailer just as it was going and everybody they were talking about all the people they were casting and all the characters that were going to be in this. And like, how are they going to fit all this in it? Like, is it going to just be just a bunch of garbage but then you think it's MCU, Sony, but MCU is dealing with it, so it's like it's not gonna be. They're gonna do something cool with this. But then just to see just the teaser, it looks like it's just for me. I think the first thing I said was like organized chaos. Like I like how crazy it looks, but at the same time, like I can see why it's getting so crazy, and just to see, oh man, everything in it was just so freaking cool. And
Crazy, we don't use that word.
Yeah, we don't use that here.
We don't use that word.
We don't use it here. That's right.
It's from another trailer.
No,
I'm
I'm super excited, and this is it. Of course, there's a lot of things out there like, well, the easiest thing they could do is just have a Kree involved, and like, that's who Spider-Man was, and blah blah blah.
No, that's not what that is.
This is gonna be so much more fun. I can't wait to see what's gonna happen with all this, and then I think out of everything, I'm the most curious. Like, why the hell is there snow and ice inside the freaking what's it, Sanctum Sanctorium?
Mm-hmm. Like, you don't pay your heating bill.
I can't
That's
wait.
what happens in the winter.
I love that he has to wear a winter coat but still has the cape.
Right. So yeah, no, I'm really super excited. I can't wait for this, and I'm super excited to see if there are going to be any other trailers that they drop. But at the same time, I don't want them to, because I don't want them to put too much out there.
Right.
I like what they gave us, and it's like, okay, now just
that's enough. Don't give me too much.
Right.
Wow, and as I think it was Tom Holland said that this was very much tip of the iceberg, like in terms, because like there's lots of speculation as to who might be. We're not doing phrasing anymore. Like seriously, there lots of speculation as to who might be making returns in this movie, as to who the villains are going to be, if the former Spider-Mans come back, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. And this movie showed you just enough to freak you out, or this trailer did, but not enough to give everything away. And I think they're going to hold to that. And Benedict Cumberbatch, he did say that this is the most ambitious standalone Marvel movie until Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness comes out. Yeah, most ambitious standalone Marvel movie, not counting Avengers.
Because he has to give himself top billing. He wants Doctor Strange to do well.
Yeah, of course. What did you think of it, Weapon 2?
I loved it. I'm loving that we're getting more. There's some movies coming out again. That we're getting new stuff. It's exciting. The whole thing, the multiverse is exciting.
Yes.
It's all exciting. I can't wait.
Yeah.
That's what I think about it all.
Yeah.
Man.
No, but for real, so like negate all the potential multiverse stuff, which is definitely the exciting moments, right? So like Dr. Ock showing up at the end, the pumpkin bomb, all the like the Sam Raimi Spider-Man tie-in, along with like Electro that we know is coming back, you know, so and the potential of Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield coming back, like all those kind of things are super exciting.
Right.
Negate all
Is that
of
Tobey
that.
Maguire or Tobey Maguire?
Did I call him Tobey Maguire?
Whatever.
He became
close enough.
He became a country music star in the interim and all that. It does sound like a country music star, Tobey Maguire. Anyway, so he's putting his guitar down and picking up the web shooters, although he didn't have web shooters. So anyway, that didn't work. So all of that aside, the movie itself, what it was building about his identity getting released and like how they were showing the ramifications of it, that alone was making for a super interesting and like really exciting movie.
Yeah.
And then they started throwing all that multiverse stuff at us. So I like Spider-Man as much as the next guy, unless the guy next to me happens to be T. Crawler. I'm very, very excited for this. Like, I can't fucking wait. And I swear to God, if you give me William Dafoe coming back as the Goblin, I will lose my mind.
You're going to lose your mind.
I will lose
You're going to lose your mind,
my
brother.
Mind will be gone.
Because it's going to happen.
I hope so.
All the best things are going to happen in this movie.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to, like, keep my expectations in check, because I don't want to be like, oh my God, this person has to show up, and then they don't show up, and then I'm like bummed out at what should be like an amazing movie. You know what I mean? So I'm trying to keep my expectations in check, and I'm trying just to take what they give me, take what they show me, and just go in expecting a good movie. And then if my mind gets blown, my mind gets blown.
Yeah,
but that trailer looked awesome.
I really like when they use new villains, and I was like, oh man, I hope they don't do another Goblin. But with this, because they have other villains that are going to be involved in the main character, the main villain's not going to be Goblin. I'm pretty excited for, if, you know, especially like you said, if he's coming back as Goblin, like I'll be pretty excited for
and like it doesn't have to be the Goblin from like the Sam Raimi universe. That could literally be Goblin from another universe where like he killed Spider-Man. You know what I mean?
True. Yeah.
And
That's
also
Green Goblin, folks.
Yeah,
There's
Green
more than one
Goblin.
Goblin.
There's
There's
a
Hobgoblin. There's other
Hobgoblin.
goblins.
Yeah.
So let's not mix up our goblins.
Also, I'm just saying, like, when Dr. Octopus shows up and he's like, hey, Peter, they cut to the shot of Tom Holland Spider-Man, but like, how do we know he's talking to Tom Holland Spider-Man? He might be talking.
We don't know.
Yeah,
I don't
he
know.
could.
That might be some clever editing.
Yep.
It might be deceiving us on purpose.
That's true.
Anyway,
Never know.
super excited for this trailer. I can't wait for it.
Right.
All right, another Marvel trailer came out recently. The Hawkeyes Disney Plus original series, Weapon 2. What did you think of that?
That looks like a fun program, folks.
Yeah, it does.
Let me tell you, coming out around Christmas time, starts at the dinner table, and you're like, hey, where's this going to take us? And then it gets fun. They are just having a blast being archers in the superhero universe we call Marvel. That's what I think about this program. The actress, what's her name? Plays Kate Bishop.
I just had it too. What is her name? Haley Steinfeld. Yeah. She's awesome. She's
fantastic.
Great in a lot of things.
Renner's fantastic. Everybody's doing a good job in this trailer that I can tell, and it looks like a fun, enjoyable, good time for a Marvel television program.
Seriously, not the tone I was expecting at all.
Yeah,
like
no,
the
not at
very happy, upbeat, like comical tone, which I think totally works, especially once you're expecting, you watch a trailer.
Especially when you're coming off him being Ronin and being this guy who's just miserable and everything sucks, and then it looks like everybody's having fun.
But I do love that plot line's tying into it, that he did some
family. Why would he be sad? His family's back.
Right.
Everything's good.
But he did do some gnarly shit probably when he was Ronin, and that's coming back to bite him.
That we can't talk about. We don't talk about all the things he did, man.
No, we don't
It's
talk.
like Fight Club.
But so Haley Steinfeld as Kate Bishop, I'm really, really genuinely excited for that. She's amazing. Pretty much in every movie I've ever seen her in. She can make like a not so great movie, Bumblebee, be very, very watchable. Because she's so good. And you're right. I love that the Hawkeye character at this point is like, how many times have I retired? And I still got to do that. Like, I don't know why it had like,
back in.
Right? And overall, like, I don't know why it had like maybe it's the Christmas theme, but it had like a Die Hard feel to me, which is probably just a Christmas motif. But T. Crawler, what did you think?
Yeah, to continue with what you're saying with the Christmas motif, like just the Christmas music in the background. See a Christmas tree a couple times, and you know it's coming out November 24th, right?
But it'll run all the way through
Christmas.
January.
Like, so it's like
It's the most
for the
wonderful time of the
holidays,
year.
like Thanksgiving through Christmas, pretty much. It like I said, fun, looks fun, and the thing I love is the continuity. I love when that the MCU has the continuity is just so awesome, and the way they put things together and tie everything in, and like they don't forget things, and they don't let the fans forget things. Like, yeah, this actually happened, and we're gonna mention it. So, and I love how everything is now tied together. All the contracts that Disney has gotten, and everything is like, I love that they have all the Marvel stuff. And it's just freaking awesome because now they can mention everything and not just vaguely mention it or kind of hint towards it, but they can actually mention exact events and character names and all this other good stuff. So I'm very excited, love it.
Yeah, and I'm really excited if this is a passing of the torch type thing to set up Kate Bishop, moving forward in future Avengers movies and stuff like that. Then yeah, sign me up. Like I'm excited to see where this goes. It looks like, and Jeremy Renner does action really, really well. Like Hawkeye aside, he was great in Mission Impossibles. He was great in the Bourne movie that he was in, Hurt Locker. Like he's a great lead. He's a good actor, especially like if you give him a little bit more to do than just being kind of a side character. You know.
Yeah.
I think this show, if you're still not sold on Hawkeye, I feel like this show is gonna make you really like him. Like I feel like objective one is make people like Hawkeye.
Yeah.
And it seems like it's gonna do that. You know?
The other thing I also like is it's another show that has people without superpowers.
Yes.
You know? I mean, yeah, you had the serum in the Captain America and Winter Soldier, but I like that they're not the over, you know, superpowers that, you know, like Scarlet Witch may have, or, you know, some of the other heroes. I love that they're bringing all these characters to the screen. It's just freaking awesome.
You know what I really love, and I don't know if he did it on purpose, but you called it Captain America and the Winter Soldier, which is the title like that they changed to at the end. I don't know if that was a happy accident, but well played, sir. This is why you make the big bucks.
You know,
he doesn't make anything. This is for free.
MCU, you're killing it.
You're killing it.
You're winning. I mean, with the exception of probably your lawsuit with Scarlett Johansson, you are winning with all your programs.
Speaking of, do we want to comment on that? Do we want to talk about that real quick?
I don't know, man. It's about a bunch of people with a bunch of money.
It is about a bunch
and then this people with even more with the most money decide that they're supposed to give this other person that's given some bunch of money, but they're supposed to give them more money, and they're not going to give them all the money they said they were going to give them. So
money.
lawyers get involved because they said, "Hey, you were supposed to do this in the theaters, but then you did it on your Disney Plus, and I think that I should have got more money because of that, and so I just want more money." Am I right about that?
I mean, so to touch on that, what I'll say is money. That said, though, I'm Team ScarJo. I agree with her. Like, just reading through like the information that's been released, she was supposed to get a certain percentage based on the movie being released in theaters.
First,
nothing said that it was going to be released in digital. They released it in digital and be like, oh, well, you don't get any of that profit.
Right.
So I'm like, again, it's a rich person like arguing with a more wealthy corporation, but I get it. If that's what they agreed to pay her, then that's what they need to do.
Especially in this time where things are coming out on HBO Max and the theater at the same time, or Disney Plus and the theater. If they're making most of their money with just the theater release, and if you can give them a few weeks, a month, whatever, to make, you know, to get that box office, those numbers there, and then put it on Premiere, that's what they should have done.
Well, and her deal was clearly signed like pre-pandemic, so there was no idea that this was going to happen, that was going to be released alongside on Disney Plus, you know what I mean? So her contract is pretty specific as to how it states how that's supposed to be released. So they're arguing a loophole. And then Disney's response is actually pretty shitty too. Like, they're really trying to like, you know, take her name and like make her seem overly greedy, and like brought up the pandemic and all that kind of stuff. But anyway,
I mean, with Shang Chi though, it's just in theaters right now, right? It's
not
Premiere.
Right.
Yeah.
So they did,
and it's breaking the box office. Tons of money. But here's the deal.
Mickey Mouse,
you know, she's like, the
this is my opinion. She's an excellent actress.
I thought we had a problem. Sorry.
She's an excellent actress, excellent Black Widow. She's been there from the beginning. Yeah. This is her last money. She needs her big payday. Not that any of them really need it, but she has earned a big payday with her standalone movie that probably should have happened a long time ago, that they put off until then, which... If they would have done it when they should have, it would have come out in the regular times in the theaters. And so just pay her.
Yeah. And you're
Come
right.
on.
She's a legitimate bona fide A-list celebrity that's been with you since the beginning.
Definitely.
Like, come on, people.
Right. Here's
like,
the thing. You're paying your corporate CEOs more money than you're paying her, and they're not doing anything for your company that I care about.
Except having some incredibly sexist emails get leaked.
Right. So pay her.
Yeah.
Keep your comic book publishing going, and that's what I care about.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm glad we're on the same page with that, but let's stick with our mouse overlords. Let's talk about the Eternals trailer, which holy that looks dope as hell.
Yes.
So I have some vague knowledge about the Eternals, but if, like me, and I consider myself like a non-casual, comic nerd fan, and there's lots of themes and stuff they're talking about here that I don't know. So you're hearing lots of words like Eternals and Deviants and Celestials and all that. And luckily for us here at the World's Greatest Museum Reviews, we have a Marvel expert, if you will, sitting right next to me. So Weapon 2. break down this trailer. Tell
Well,
us
I'm not
about
an
the
expert
Eternals.
on anything. I'm just a regular person like anybody else.
You're an expert
I'm a
on
person
downplaying how awesome you are.
who liked
Under his face, he's really
Marvel Comics books when I was a kid, lots.
Yes.
And so I had, like, probably, as far as a comic book nerd goes, moderate knowledge of the Eternals. I probably got a little bit more into them since the movie started coming out, but the basics were the Celestials, who are godlike beings, came to the Earth, and they made these pretty people we're going to call Eternals with all kinds of superpowers.
They are all
this
really
kind of stuff.
pretty, aren't they?
Yes. And then these ugly, gruesome people, which, I mean, that's all opinion, man. I mean, if you're a deviant, like I'm going to talk about the next week, the ugly people, you might think that Eternals are ugly and that your people are kind of cool looking and handsome. But, I mean, so it's like your opinion. So I guess from our opinion, Eternals are beautiful people. Deviants are ugly people. They also put in the seeds of superpowers in human beings. The what's coming up that we know is going to be coming up in the Marvel universe? Mutants. They are set the gene, the X gene for the mutants. They also set the seed for people to be exposed to things and get superpowers, much like a radioactive spider bite,
Or
much like
a
gamma rays. Yeah, much like all kinds of things to trigger superpowers. Because in our universe, where we live right now, you'd probably just die. So that's thanks to the Celestials.
By the way,
superpowers.
You ever want to make an X-ray tech laugh? Like, tell them you don't want the lead shield put across your junk because you're hoping you get superpowers.
I'm hoping I can birth super children.
I was just like, also, can you bring in like a woodchuck or something to bite me at the same time you hit the button? There's a pause, hysterical laughter, and then they call you an idiot.
So
That didn't happen to me.
So that's kind of the base of where the Celestials come from, and according to what we learned from the trailer, and mostly is that why haven't they done anything to include interfere with Thanos, who because they can't. The Celestials say they can't do anything unless a deviant's involved, except for Thanos.
But
has a dominant deviant gene because his family are Celestials, and he has a dominant deviant gene. So, but they couldn't interfere with Thanos because
he's not 100% deviant.
Okay, I see. Anyways,
so like they have to
detail.
so like Thanos is invading. I'm like, oh, he looks kind of like a deviant. It's like, well, hang on, let's check out his ancestry.com and see how much of a percentage of a deviant he is, and if he's over or under a certain percentage.
he's only 75% deviant.
Yeah,
he has to be 78.6%
or
deviant,
higher.
or higher. Yeah, for
I
it to
don't make
interfere.
the rules.
You can't interfere.
I just laugh
We
at
just
them.
follow them. Celestial rules.
Yeah.
Yep.
They're gods. They're beyond our understanding.
Right, yeah. Yeah, that's Celestials. And so, it looks cool. They, of course, star-studded cast.
Seriously, like for real.
excellent actors.
Very pretty actors.
We're going to have the Black Knight show up, which is cool for me because I'm a big fan.
It's cool for me, too, because Kit Harington is playing him.
Yes.
And I really just want to hear him say the word bottle.
Yeah.
Or be like, can you give me a glass of water?
Yeah. And he
Wish I talked like
And
that.
he doesn't want it. But
He doesn't want it.
He doesn't want it.
don't want it.
So it's going to be fun to see where they go with this. You know, every time people go, oh my goodness, it's the end of the Avengers, it's like they start opening up all these new avenues and doors to new characters that we haven't seen before and we get super excited about.
Yes. So this trailer looks amazing. Like visually, it looks insanely cool. Like all their costumes, all the effects, like all the things like you talked about that they're showing off. Like they showed some Celestials, they showed the Deviants, they showed some of the places that we're going. Like visually, it's an like awe-inspiring movie, or so it looks like right now. This is one that definitely, even if they were releasing it on, Disney Plus, no, I'm going to theaters. Like this looks brilliant. I like that there's these new characters that I don't know a whole lot about. Like I understand kind of like where they fit in terms of the power hierarchy of the MCU after talking to you about it, but it's really, really cool to see new characters and new concepts. And like I'm glad that we're exploring you know, the cosmic realm of characters in this universe that are uber powerful, right? Like you're saying, like the Celestials and stuff, those are Galactus level power, if not higher, right?
Yeah, and they're kind of dicks, man.
I mean, what do they do about coming to the world?
Go from planet to planet like it's just a toy or a game or an experiment where they like start this whole thing like I talked about, and then they're like, yeah, didn't really turn out the way we wanted it to. Let's just erase it. And then they come and destroy. You think that Thanos was bad, and some of the Galactus, they come in and do this over and over, just destroy. Not because like Galactus, who's hungry, or like Thanos, who thinks he's doing something good for the universe. They just do it for funsies.
Yeah.
Just because they feel like it.
Yeah, this didn't
And
work.
it seems like some BS to me.
And you see this in the very first Guardians of the Galaxy movie when they're talking about the Power Stone of the Collectors. You see, what's that Celestial's name? The one
Can't
with
remember all their
But
names.
he does with the Power Stone, just wipes
Yeah.
out the civilization just because, you know, reasons. So this is dope. T. Crawler, what'd you think?
I mean, you pretty much said what I was going to say. I like the fact that we're going into characters that aren't really mainstream characters, that we're especially for me, I didn't know much about these guys, and so watching the trailer, honestly, so a lot of people, I'm sure, like, if it doesn't get your attention because you don't know these characters, and then all of a sudden you hear Thanos, why didn't you interfere with Thanos? You're like, oh, Thanos, what they're talking about? Rewind, what the hell were they talking about? So then you start watching, and then you start listening and paying attention. You're paying attention. You're like, holy okay. So this is going to be pretty awesome. Like, this is, you know, these are some high level, you know, characters. So I'm excited, just like I am with like most of these movies coming out, to see where this goes, how they tie into everything, and I just love, again, the continuity, like, you know, how it ties everything in. It is like mentions something that we've seen and that we know, and that piques, you know, our interest, but like especially and not just for the people that know the comic book characters and know, you know, have more information on stuff like Weapon 2, but for the casual that fans that just watch the movies, that I think that kind of grabs their attention also. Like, oh shit, okay, this is actually connected to everything, and they're continuing to do that with all these shows. So I'm super excited again for another Marvel movie that's coming out. So
yeah, I like that we're exploring different avenues. Like,
Yes.
a concept that's really cool to me is, like, you know, we've been following our core kind of Avengers group, you know what I mean? And now we're really starting to explore the fact that there's lots of really big, important stuff happening in different areas that we haven't seen, right? Like in this movie and other movies have explored, like, you know, the cosmic scale of things and huge events that are taking place, like, we're really unaware of in our little world. And Shang-Chi, which we'll talk about later, is really like the more magical side of things. And like, these are big world-ending events also that are happening that we're just not really aware of. And it's cool to like think of a concept that, yeah, there's really important and ancient and magical things happening that we just don't know happens, but are like super important. And I'm glad that we're exploring those areas now.
Right.
That's
Yep.
really, really fun to me.
The funnest thing that I hear from people that is hilarious to me is like in reference to the Celestials, they'll say, I don't even know who they are, and I don't even care, and why would I be excited about them? You know who else you didn't know about?
Bitch, Iron Man. You didn't care about Iron Man.
Three words. Guardians
Yeah, you didn't care about
of
them
the
either.
Galaxy. 4 words,
Right,
the Galaxy.
exactly.
And here's the thing, because if you say you were a huge Guardians of the Galaxy fan before the movies, you're full of it. There was very few people that really knew much about the Guardians of the Galaxy, and if they did, they wouldn't consider themselves huge Guardians of the Galaxy fans. But we start this thing, they start the movies, and all of a sudden everybody loves the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Right.
That's what's going to happen with every property that the MCU introduces. Is you're going to go, I don't know anything about this. Why should I be excited? And once you see the first movies, you can go, this is awesome. I love them. This is great.
they do it right,
So,
man.
yeah.
They just can make good movies.
Yeah.
Shang-Chi. Shang-Chi is a big Marvel property, but most people weren't like huge Shang-Chi fans or knew a lot about him.
I know a little bit.
I knew that he was like I'd read some Shang-Chi comics when I was a kid, and I also knew he was a big property to them, that, you know, as far as the Marvel Comics felt that he was a big property. I just don't think that anybody else really saw it the same way. Then the movie comes out, everybody loves it. So that's all I'm saying.
Seriously, just give it a chance. Especially if you don't know what it is. Just
Right.
trust that this studio knows how to make a good movie. But all right, let's move on to another trailer, and this is the trailer out of all these awesome trailers I'm probably the most excited for. So if you've watched this show for any length of time, you probably know I'm a huge Matrix fan.
What?
And yeah, Matrix Revelations trailer dropped.
You look regular size to me.
I mean, I'm not a big dude. Thanks for bringing it up.
Okay.
But I'm big where it counts. My hearts, and the things I care about. The Matrix, Man Out of the Gutter, people. I have not been this excited about a movie for a long time. Seriously, this is kind of exactly what I wanted to see in a trailer. In that, I have no idea what the hell's going on. Like it answered. Not only did it not answer questions, I have more questions. I have no idea what's happening. And this is someone like, and I understand, like, so the Matrix 1 in a vacuum by itself, masterpiece of cinema, right? Influenced movies moving on for decades, both on how they were shot and how stories were told, all these kind of things. Matrix 2 and 3, they both had moments that I really, really love, but obviously they're not as definitive as the first one. They kind of get overly convoluted, all that kind of stuff. This, though, you can clearly see kind of what you think they're doing, and then all of a sudden it turns it on its head. And the thing that really impressed me with this trailer was visually looks amazing. Like the problem, so the first Matrix, so much of it was done without CGI. Lots of it was done practical. They invented new filming techniques in order to film some of these. But 2003, when the next two movies came out, that's in that early period of the 2000s where CGI just didn't look good on any movie, really. Like CGI just became like really prevalent, and all of these movies were like, oh, well, it's just CGI. And so many movies look
Except for maybe
really, really
Terminator
bad.
2. That was
92. And because the CGI back then was used so sparingly and intermittently, it's fine. But in about 2002, 2003, movies started relying on it too much, and CGI wasn't quite there. Like, think Blade 2. Think, the first Hulk. Think, movies like that where, even the first Spider-Man when he's running on the rooftops without a car. Like, it looks so bad, but at the time, like, let's use this new technology. So these Matrix movies clearly had that. We're now at a point where the technology and the CGI and the visuals, I think, can match the ambition of the story being told. So this trailer looks amazing. Like, and I love, like, the martial arts style, and I love the way it's shot. Like, felt like the original Matrix. First of all, song choice in this trailer, good. Perfect. Like, freaking, are you freaking kidding me? Like, perfect song choice. I love following Neo around. I love that, like, he interacts with Trinity, and, like, do we know each other? Do we not know each other? I love that he's popping blue pills like Skittles because, he's so freaking powerful. They're trying to contain him. I also love the shot where he's clearly, like, the Matrix is redesigned to be a modern version of the world.
Well, it seems like he's completely forgot about
everything.
The Matrix.
So it's like,
and he's like back to not knowing anything,
but he's still,
and then he has to rediscover.
But he's at his power level beforehand.
Well, yeah, but it's almost like he forgot. It's just like one of these things, like a Bourne Identity, where you don't know that you have all this assassin fighting abilities until somebody starts attacking you, and next thing you know,
then it's coming out, and I'm on board with that. I want the little by little.
It's like he thinks that he's like a regular person in the regular world again, even though he thinks that he's we don't use that word crazy, and
put Doogie Howser and everything.
Exactly. Yes, very good. And then he's starting to. I think I might be crazy because I'm thinking I'm having these dreams, and I think this other thing is happening, but I don't know if it's real or not until he realizes we're in the Matrix again, folks.
One thing, that's the name of the movie. One thing I do want to talk about too is I love, in terms, like you were talking continuity, T-Crawler. Right. So if you watch the first three movies, anytime they were in the Matrix, the color palette was like this kind of muted green color in all of it, except the very last scene of the last movie when the architect rebuilt the Matrix, and you see a super saturated, super overexposed light showing where they were sitting on the park bench. And when this movie opens, we see the shot of the buildings that Neo's in having therapy with Doogie Howser, MD. And you see a super overexposed, super saturated color. And I was like, this is the rebuilt fucking Matrix, I think. And like, it's just, I don't know. The nerd, I'm just, all these ideas are fishing around in my head. I'm so excited. Like, legitimate goosebumps. I watched this trailer and then watched it 10 more freaking times. I cannot be more excited for this. And like, I know it won't be as good as the first one or whatever, but if you just give me a really, really awesome movie, if you give me a story that's worth telling me and a good continuation of it, you give me like the same feel that the original movie had, then you got me. T-Crawler, what did you think?
I'm on board with everything you said, honestly. Like I don't think I can add anything to what you said. Like it's just awesome. And it's, after so many years to finally get, another Matrix movie, and like you said with the trailer, it's like it's all over the place. it starts to like, for me, it was like starting to look like, oh, I get where they're going, and then again, like you said, it turns it up on your, turns you on your head, like, wait, what the hell was that? Like, I don't know. So I like trailers like that though, and it just keeps you wanting more, and it keeps you, in anticipation for the actual movie to come out. So. That's in December? So
yeah, I love that I'm confused. Also, dual release on HBO Max, and that's funny. HBO, no way, I'm not watching this in theaters first. Like, I'll watch it on HBO Max
watch
a bunch of times,
and then I'll go to the movie theater to watch it, and then I'll watch it on HBO Max, and then I'll go to the movie theater to watch it.
Then I'll watch it in the movie theater again, and then I'll come back to HBO Max.
See, the thing is, though, this could be as good as the original. I mean, it's never going to be the same. It's never going to be discovering the Matrix that we didn't know existed, but if it's a good story, we could be rediscovering the Matrix, folks.
Which,
with Neo. Yeah.
Real quick, I want to comment on the original marketing for that first movie. Like, brilliant. I remember when that came out, the trailers, there wasn't even like really full-length trailers. It was just like TV spots. Showed so little, just enough to confuse you. And then I remember it was all
just the tip.
Phrasing.
Ugly duckling. It was all just like, and then I remember the website was just like, what is thematrix.com? And then like you go to your friend's house who, can afford the internet, and you go onto the website and you're just like, and you're still confused. Like, I remember even Quentin Tarantino said this in an interview. He remembers sitting in the theater to watch the first Matrix. It started in him just being like, I literally have no idea what the hell this is about. Like, apparently they teach marketing, like the first run of the Matrix, like they teach that in marketing classes, like how ingenious that was, because it built hype and suspense and expectations without giving anything about the movie away. So I hope this does that. I hope they don't really show too much in upcoming trailers. I'm debating on whether or not I'm going to watch future trailers because I don't want to know anything else. Like, I'm there, they have my money. So, but yeah, I'm really excited.
There's a lot of people that are they're saying that he looks like John Wick. He has the long hair. And a lot of people don't realize.
Hey,
that.
You know what? It's the same actor.
Well, yeah,
he's going to look very similar.
It's not only the same actor, but if I'm not mistaken, they were filming John Wick
4
and Matrix at the same time.
His name's Keanu Reeves. He's starting both of the franchises.
I'm okay with it because I don't want them to do a Henry Cavill thing and like
with
have the
mustache.
CGI the hair out or something like that. So just leave the hair alone, whatever.
The biggest trick you could tell me is if you told me he looks nothing like the actor who stars in John Wick, and then I would say that's amazing because it's supposed to be the same guy.
Same guy, guys. Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah, so super excited. All these trailers look dope. Lots of, like Weapon 2, you were saying earlier, lots of really cool stuff coming out around Christmas, around the end of the year, because this is the 22nd, I believe. So, yeah, great
Most
stuff.
Wonderful time of the year.
Indeed.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about What If. There have been 6 episodes that have come out.
Yes.
Of varying quality and levels of interest on my end. So it literally is like one's amazing and then one's kind of like to me. So let's talk about what have been some of your favorite episodes so far.
My favorite episode is maybe in my 2 favorites. They're pretty close. We're going to be probably the Doctor Strange episode and the Marvel Zombies episode. Yes. I probably lean towards the Marvel Zombies episode because I was a big fan of Marvel Zombies. If I had my comic books in here, which I probably don't, there might be on the bottom. There is a Marvel Zombies in there, and they're big. I liked it. It was a really cool concept. Which, by the way, fun fact, they're talking about doing a live action Marvel Zombies movie now, which is going to be awesome, or television series. The fun thing. So that episode by itself was fun for me. It's your classic zombies and people trying to escape zombies thing. The fun thing about Marvel Zombies was they still had their intellect. They were still who they were, yet they were zombies. So if they were well fed, they could think, and they were trying to cure the zombie whole problem. But if they got hungry, all they could think about is food. so zombie problems. But
hashtag zombie problems.
Yeah, so that whole thing was fun to introduce zombies in the Marvel universe. That was a great episode. I liked the Doctor Strange whole him trying to go over and over and over and over again and try to change the history and try to make it better. But the Watcher, he says you can't change it, so you need to just give up. Stop trying to things up. And so those, I love those. I liked all of them for different reasons. I thought the T'Challa as Star-Lord was a fun episode. It was kind of funny and
Still
lighthearted.
sounds an awful lot like genocide to me.
Yeah, that was fun. And each one of them has had cool things for me, but I have to say that those two episodes were probably my favorite. How about you fellas?
So definitely, I have enjoyed all of them. To me, by a mile, the Doctor Strange episode, like kind of to me, that one's head and shoulders above all of the rest of them. And it's not doing anything thematically that hasn't been done before. Like we've seen I mean, it's the Time Machine by H.G. Wells. Like you're going back trying to save the girl over and over and over again. And you realize you're stuck in a paradox and like you can't become who you are or build the time machine without, her dying. And so but this does it really, really well. And really heartbreakingly well. And it also shows what happens when somebody as uber powerful as him strays just a little bit off the path. Mm-hmm. And the end, when he's throwing down with the other version of himself.
The other version of himself?
Version.
Oh,
I've
I got
been
you.
drinking.
No, I said you
version.
said it right. You said it right.
Why are you messing
I
me
was
up,
just
bro?
having fun, fella. I was just having
the
fun.
other version of himself. Yeah. You really don't think for a second that the good Doctor Strange isn't going to find a way to win, and then he does it, and then he saves the evil, because again, not completely evil, like you understand exactly what he's doing and why he's doing it. Like he does manage in a haunting scene to like save Christine as the universe around him.
Isn't that funny how you can justify like absorbing and killing, basically killing and absorbing these other creatures just for your benefit?
It's horrible.
Right.
It's
But
weird.
somehow you justify the ends justify the means.
Yeah.
And I love that she's fading away. I love that it's the first time the Watcher, like anybody ever notices his presence and actually interacts with him. And I love that the whole universe
Fix my mistakes. He's like, dude, I can't, you have to deal with your own problems. I'm watching.
But the very, very end, when she dies and he's like stuck, he basically shielded himself, and I believe it was the mirror dimension, and there's just total darkness, right? Like he destroyed the entire freaking universe. And the narration, which by the way, the guy, I forget the name of the actor who's voicing the Watcher, brilliant in every episode.
Oh, he's a guy who was in
He was in Westworld.
In Westworld,
yeah.
he was
I believe he plays
was
Commissioner Gordon in the new Batman.
Yes, he
also.
does.
Yep.
Great choice for that. But I like how they're just like, one choice can destroy, and one life, one choice can destroy an entire, like, and then it just ends, and you're just like, what in the hell did I just watch?
You think Thanos was bad? Look at this guy.
Yeah.
That I think so that's not a happy episode, but that's one of those stories where I was just like, you know what? I'm happy that they had the guts to go there, because
For one person's selfishness, you
Yeah.
destroy the entire universe.
And it also
man. Can
speaks
you
how
imagine that?
uber powerful Doctor Strange is.
Yeah.
Like not a lot of people.
Well,
can
he
just
had
wreck
to,
the
he
universe.
had to like absorb all those other
Still,
creatures.
but the fact
Had
that
to
he can do all that, like,
right.
Not a lot of people. Captain America can't do that.
Crazy. No, right. Doctor
So-
Strange magic. Yeah. Surgery.
That was
Yeah.
my favorite episode, but they've all been pretty good. I also think that the Peggy Carter episode, the first one, was really good, and also it was smart of them to lead with that being the first episode, because it's kind of the easiest to understand. It's the easiest point of deviation to make this whole new world.
Right.
It's easy to put that on the cover of the poster, and people get, this is a slight change and stuff. So, but I've enjoyed all of them. I love that this is like the last performances of Chadwick Boseman. You're hearing him do Black Panther.
Yeah.
Boy.
I do love that there's a version of Killmonger that just outsmarts everybody. That's really dope. They've all been entertaining so far. T-Crawler, what have you dug about it?
I've dug the whole thing, the whole concept of what if, like, and I just shut people down and like, "Ooh, I don't like that. I don't like this. It shouldn't be like it's in the title. It's what if. It's not like
Who says something shouldn't
it's
be in what if? It's
there's a lot of people out there that are like,
it's a one-off story. It can
Right.
be anything.
And I love the fact that it's animated, because I think they can do so much more with animation to, like, especially as you were talking about with the Doctor Strange, to show him in all the different ways he tried to save her. And it's like, how long and how much would that have taken if it was like a live action movie or show or something?
Exactly.
Like, so they're able to do that with animation. I love it. My favorite one was the zombie one, because I'm a big zombie fan, obviously. So, but I love the concept.
No, you are.
So,
What? Color me shocked.
Yeah, I probably didn't know that. But
I knew you were gonna love that one.
Yeah, I when I saw that, I was like, man, I wish it was longer than what it was. But I like the whole thing, like where the infection came from and stuff like that. I was like, man, that's pretty cool. Like, and I heard about the comics, but from the comics that when they came out, but I've never read them. So for this, it's all kind of it's very new. but I like it, and I've loved. I think I'm on board with you guys. Like the Doctor Strange episode and the zombie ones were my favorite. And then with the one with the there it goes.
Show it back. Let's go. Look at fucking zombie Spider-Man
awesome.
here.
So and then all the different what ifs that they could do down the line. I don't.
Yeah, they got a whole. So I think this is
but
only half of the first season, and they got a whole nother season coming too.
So what you were saying, you said I'm glad they you didn't think they were going to go a certain way with the
dark
Doctor
with
Strange,
the Doctor
right?
Strange one.
And I like even the slightest thing with even the first one with Captain Carter, like when the Colonel told her you shouldn't even be in the room right now.
Right.
Like they didn't steer away from that's how it would have been back then because they didn't have women in those powers or those positions in those ranks and stuff. So I'm glad they didn't steer away from that and they kept that in there. But at the same time, it shows that as she starts kicking ass because she has a serum and she starts doing this and she's making plans and stuff. Then eventually she tells him, "You're lucky that you're in the room right now." So they're all the episodes they've done. I like them all. I like all the different versions of them. And it's just so entertaining because it's again you got to keep it's what if. So the people that are out there are real serious, like that's dumb, blah blah. It's like what?
It's like, well, okay, so then you kind of don't understand like the inherent concept of this show. Also, why are you talking to me, random stranger who doesn't understand comics? Get away from me, shoo! We are not friends.
Who doesn't like new, interesting, fun things? What's wrong with you?
I told him, I said, listen to the narration in the beginning. He explains everything.
the concept.
And he says to ponder the question. Does he have to say it as fucking like
he
what
even
if?
explains the multiverse.
But exactly how does it apply? I mean, how does it apply?
That's not
What's
the movie that I
application
watched.
to everything else?
How's it? Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's
It
freaking
just drives me crazy.
Oh my god. It's like, bro, go off with your Affliction t-shirt.
You don't understand things. Is your problem
Well,
in
not
life?
the things that I like. Yeah.
Yeah.
Stop following me. Anyway, yeah, they've all been good. I think my least favorite was What If Earth Lost Its Mightiest Heroes or whatever that one was.
Really? I
yeah,
like that one.
I mean,
I thought that was cool.
It was
a
a neat
good twist
concept, but it just didn't.
I'm like, what the hell?
The thing for that was you're right. The twist and the whodunit part was cool. The
Really,
Hank Pym
though,
killing
like,
all the Avengers is like,
fuck
come
outta
on, man.
I mean,
Really?
hey, when you're that small,
But it was no. I agree with you. The whole
It was the least
the whole
have to be.
whodunit Sherlock Holmes part of it was kind of fun. Trying
that
to
was
figure
cool,
out who
but
it
then
was.
when you reveal who it was, and I was just like, oh, lol.
Nah, man, nah.
really.
But even that is utterly watchable. It was just my least favorite.
Well, I mean, fun fact in Marvel Zombies, Hank Pym is the one who's trying to solve and cure all the. He's actually a genius.
Yeah, he's awesome in the comics.
And he's the one trying to solve all the zombie problems. But yeah, I think he's not the guy that kills all the Avengers.
I do love the shot of Marvel Zombies when the Avengers land and little tiny Ant-Man bites Captain America. Oh yeah, right. He was like, the hell? Oh, shit, I'm dead.
And I love the fact that when Hope. When she, turned giant and then she died or whatever, I was like, oh, that's gonna be a giant zombie. Oh,
okay,
shit.
but you know what my problem with that was? Like, I'm gonna grow giant and then walk across and throw. I was like, you have wings, man. Like, why are you not flying? Like, what's happening right now? But whatever, nitpick. It's fine, isn't it? It's fine. But yeah, What If has been really fun so far.
You know what the funnest part of that was for me? I think at the end, I don't know who it was that threw him, but at the end while they're leaving in the what's it called, the quad jet or whatever it is, whatever it's called, Quinjet. And don't they throw Bruce Banner up and he bounces off the Quinjet as they're gone? I don't know who throws him. I don't know if it was the Wasp or whoever, but somebody throws him and he just bounces off the Quinjet. I mean, they just left him behind, man. What did they go back for?
He's not gonna die. He's not.
I know, but he could have been an ally.
Yeah,
could have took him in the Quinjet. But anyways, I don't even know why I went off on that tangent.
Good show. Check it out if you haven't. But okay, let's talk about Shang Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings.
Yes.
So real quick, I didn't know much about this character at all. And honestly, like the trailer looked neat and all that, but just given my lack of familiarity with the character, if this wasn't a Marvel movie, it would not have been a priority for me to go see in theaters, right? I'm very happy I did because this movie lends itself to a theatrical experience. This was, in my humble opinion, one of the best standalone Marvel movies ever, period, end of story.
I agree.
I think where it falls for you is just preference. Like I was talking with friend of the show, H. Dresden, about this. to me, I still prefer Ragnarok just because like I love that movie and the watchability. But
it's strongly in the top 5.
It's every
top
like
5 for
my
sure.
top 5. If you're gonna say that, like the first Iron Man, like Black Panther, Captain America, Winter Soldier, it fits perfectly, and it's just as good as any of them. Just a matter of like what your preference is. That said, super likable characters. You love the main character. You love his plucky sidekick. You completely understand and empathize with his father and where he's coming from. The martial arts is amazing. Hey,
which is the best villains that you can understand.
Yeah.
You can see where they're coming from. You may not agree
he's
with
not
what
even
they're
a
doing,
villain,
but
really.
it's like, they're understandable.
Yeah.
Right.
And like, you know what the martial arts movie should get right? Iron Fist. The martial arts.
Holy cow!
Jesus.
The fight scenes are awesome.
Like unbelievably well done.
Yep.
And even the end, like Dresden was worried that like, because I'm a little bit more critical of like CGI and stuff like that, and he was worried that the climax would take me out of it. I didn't give a like. So by that point, I'm so in and I'm so invested with the characters, and I'm watching a giant dragon fight like this big other monster. I was like, I don't even give a like. I'm there. Like, take my money. Like, I was enjoying myself. Great movie. Great mid credit scene tying it into the Avengers. And the thing that I could take away the most from this, and I'll talk more in depth after you guys have given your review, I'm super excited to see him interact with the Avengers. I'm super excited to see him talk with and be a part of the team. And whatever Avengers movie he shows up in, he's getting the dopest freaking fight in that entire movie.
Right.
So I loved it. Weapon 2, what'd you think?
Here's the thing. Shang-Chi in the comic books was always just a non-powered, just expert, best fighter that there is. Kung fu fighting guy, always karate chop him, kicking people. So that was cool. That was their take on him. The fact that they gave him these 10 rings kind of superpower type stuff took it to a whole new level for me. Because, it's hard to, it's much like Hawkeye or stuff when you're going, well, can this person really hang with these people with superpowers? When you're doing the math, it's like kind of not. So I'm kind of glad they gave him these powerful things that he now has kind of superpowers, and he's still fighting.
Not kinda, like legit superpowers.
But
like,
he's still the fighting guy.
Yeah,
dude, and the thing they did wrong with Iron Fist, which I'll tell you what, I had the highest hopes for.
That's a whole
I
podcast,
loved Iron Fist. Heroes for Hire, Iron Fist, and Power Man were my favorites when I was a kid, and the fact that they destroyed that whole opportunity for me was sad. So when they came in with this and these fight scenes where everybody's just super awesome choreographed, super really skilled fighters, was great for me. And so it was just a super exciting movie from front to back. I didn't see any part where this like lagged for me, and I was like, it just kept going for me. What?
No, in the middle, it did kind of like. It was never uninteresting, and it was never not entertaining. Right. But it did for me just a little bit at the end of the second act when they get to the village and they're doing all that.
I might have
Still interesting.
It was my first time back to the movie theater, bro, and maybe I was just in the moment, but I was having fun the whole time.
I had fun
watching
the whole time.
a movie in the movie theater, and it felt like it just kept going for me.
I also love that this was like Marvel's kung fu movie. Like, it feels like old school kung fu. If that's your jam, like if you love old Bruce Lee movies and stuff, you will love this.
Yeah.
And it also leans into like Chinese American culture and like the cultural influence that being from that background has, and like how that ties into everything. And like, so it's actually like a really smart movie that works on a lot of freaking levels. On top of just being this big, ridiculous spectacle of a movie.
And they kind of updated it in the comic books. It was still kind of a little bit, I'm going to say a word, racist. It was still...
Wait, something from the past was racist?
With the Fu Manchu and all this kind of stuff. They kind of updated it. Yes. They changed it to be appropriate and what we want to see now. So that was good. And I like to see that part of it. Because it was kind of, they can do better, and they did.
Right. Also, I also want to say Wong is a legend. Like, seriously.
Oh, yeah.
He needs
Fighting
to be
Abomination?
and everything. Well, like that, and then doing the karaoke at the end.
Hey, bro, stop punching yourself. Abomination, stop punching yourself. Yeah, stop hitting yourself.
He's amazing.
Yes.
I also really, really like the fact that you could have a male lead and then the female lead, who's his friend, not be romantic interests for once. Like, for once, they were just friends that loved each other and had each other's backs. And she was also, like, relevant and had a huge outcome in how the movie ended.
Awkwafina's fun. She's good
amazing.
in everything. Yep.
And it's just like, okay, cool. Like, they don't have to have a forced romantic love interest. Arrow, thanks for ruining Felicity, who is the funnest character in that entire show. But it's cool that they could just be friends, and if they get together later, fine, whatever. But like, they didn't force it here, which would have clearly, like, that would have been a nitpick, because it was like, that doesn't need to happen, and it didn't happen, and I'm happy it didn't happen.
I mean, there's times where this, like, what do you call it? The tenseness.
Yeah, the tension.
Sexual tension.
Yeah, sure. They did not have that, though.
Sometimes sexual tension
is fun.
Works for a movie, and it's fun. It's part of the plot. It adds to the story. And sometimes it just gets in the way, and it feels like it's forced, and it feels like it's just put in there just because. And the fact that they didn't, and they were just friends their whole life. It's cool to show that people cannot be just the same sex, and they can also be friends. I agree with you.
So let's see, Crawler, you actually haven't seen this yet, so spoilers.
Well, no.
But you were curious to see what we thought about it.
So I told you guys I hadn't got a chance to see this. The only thing I knew about Shang Chi, and correct me if I'm wrong, but when they have the power rankings of, like, the strongest character in Marvel, the strongest. Isn't he like the best martial artist in Marvel?
He is. He's
like the number one martial artist.
Wait, I thought Iron Fist, in terms of comics, was the best martial artist.
Him and Iron Fist are supposed to be. It depends on what comic book you're reading.
Gotcha.
Each of them claims to be the best fighter. The only difference between in the comic books, Iron Fist, was he had a superpower.
Right.
But now Shang-Chi
he could turn his fist to a super fiery, powerful.
Sometimes he has performance anxiety.
Well, in the comic books, he didn't really. He could do that. So that was a step above. Hey, I got Iron Fist,
right.
And but if you talk to whatever the comic book of the time was, they were saying, I'm the best fighter there is. And that was the deal. So,
although, okay, I would say this right now. Take the 10 rings away from the main character in this movie and put him in a fight with the MCU Danny Rand with the Iron Fist.
Are you talking about the Netflix Danny Rand?
Yes.
Iron Fist? Yeah, he's going to kick his ass.
Not only going to kick his ass, but then Danny Rand's going to go cry about it. You know what I mean? So,
whiny little bitch.
And that's the thing. You have to make me like the character. I have to give. And the fact that we're mocking Danny Rand again is like, you didn't do, like, he was the most annoying character.
Which hurts my heart, because he was one of my favorite characters before that TV series came out.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Man.
But you're right. So in this, he comes off as like the best martial artist you'll ever see in your life. Like, legit. Like, I wouldn't want to fight him. Well, I wouldn't want to fight Danny Rand either,
I wouldn't fight. I talk about fighting people out. I don't want to fight any really
I don't know if you guys know
fighters at all.
Weapon 2.
Unless they're in their 70s, and I'll fight
We'll
them.
beat up any 80s action
That's
hero.
right.
If you could just set it up.
Yep.
Set it up.
He will fight Stallone, Schwarzenegger, whoever. So if anybody can make this...
Chuck Norris, I'll fight you.
All of you guys better hope we never get famous enough to make this happen, because he wants to fight them all.
I will fight them. Unless any of them die, and then I'm gonna take it back, because I don't want to be on record. So I'm gonna fight a person who's a highly coveted and loved person.
It's gonna suck if Stallone dies between the filming of this and
if I don't get to fight Stallone before he dies,
maybe he died because he's scared. He couldn't handle the challenge.
Yeah, that might have been what did him in.
Scared to death.
But no, so that they nailed that aspect of this movie.
It's good. It's good. You need to go see that movie.
Check this out. This is a good movie, dude.
Yep.
Sounds like everything I've heard has been actually. Everybody I've talked to or I've heard from has had a lot of positive things to say about it. So
it's a good movie.
Just to hear you guys talk about it, I've been excited. Now I'm even more excited to go see it. I'm definitely gonna go check it out.
And I can't emphasize enough. So his dad's the antagonist. Totally get it. Like, you see. So the only thing, what nitpick of a criticism is when we finally get the full exploration of that backstory and like what happened to the mom and all that. That should have happened earlier in the movie. Like, I get that they were keeping it a little like that. More context would have helped, and like it seemed a little bit out of place where it was, and like the back third of the movie.
It was interesting though, because then you're wondering why.
Yeah, totally.
Is he doing this, and then at the end, and then it's kind of a little bit of a payoff at the end where you start to understand.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, but you could have shown how she died and then still kept the mystery of the thing talking to him. You know what I mean?
Right.
And like, so I mean, but whatever. It didn't like ruin the movie. I just felt like that was weird placement. But yes, And it's almost sad when like you hear what he thinks is happening,
Right.
and you're like, this is just a dude who's heartbroken, man. Like he's just like this bad guy. And H. Dresden did make the correlation between this and
Who
Castlevania.
never, even though he is wrong, never a bad guy.
No, he
I mean,
never-
except for his history, his past
right.
history. Up until he meets his wife,
Right.
he's kind of a bad guy. But then he's not a bad guy after that.
And again, it kind of shows how like if you meet like a good person, like they can help bring out the best version of you. But then when you lose that, and even once he loses it, he's not like, oh, I'm gonna burn the world down. He literally just thinks he's trying to save her.
Right.
And even like when he brings the kids in and all, like the trailer made him seem a little bit more of a dick. But in this, he's never even like really cruel to them once they're adults. By the way, also, sister is a badass, and the very end credit scene where she's taken over and like as it's found out, that was super cool. And again, like I loved the mid credit scene which shows him talking to Bruce and Captain Marvel and Wong, and like they're sitting up all
About that, why is Bruce not Professor Hulk anymore?
Seriously, that was my big takeaway.
Why is he still wearing an arm sling when Hulk is supposed to have the best healing factor of anybody, equal to anybody's healing factor, best healing factor? He's still got an arm in an arm sling. Not buying it. Doesn't work for me.
I loved though when Captain Marvel gets the call. She was like, "I gotta go. I gotta take this." She's like, "You can get my number from Bruce," and then she bounces out, and Bruce is like,
I don't have his number.
Also, like I love Brie Larson in that role. Like she's
Yes.
super funny. Like people who hate on her, like off.
Yeah.
Like she's great.
Yeah.
So that's where I didn't realize my level of excitement in watching him interact with Avengers. Where I'm just like, dude, more of that. Like I'm excited to see you interact with them. So on top of the fact that this was just a solid movie, like negate any of that time. So this is what like I think a standalone Marvel movie should do. Alone in a vacuum tells its own story that is awesome and entertaining and emotional, and it's its own spectacle, and it doesn't need to connect. But the way it connects, the way that's done, makes total sense within the freaking narrative of this movie. And it's not a movie that's just there to set up the next movie. It's telling its own story, and it connect. Like that's the way you do a freaking movie, man. Like I can't emphasize enough how seamlessly this connects, and it's super well done.
If you didn't know anything about Marvel or Shang Chi or anything, which I think a good number of people aren't, that's just an awesome movie to watch. Yep.
Seriously. So T. Crawler, check it out. It's really, really good.
I'm definitely going to.
Awesome. So watch Shang-Chi. Good movie. Gentlemen, I feel like...
Or Shang-Chi.
Shang-Chi? Am I saying it wrong?
No, they pronounced it. I've always
They
called
say
it Shang-Chi. And that's how it's always been pronounced as far as I can remember. And then they called him Shang-Chi. I was like, man, I've been saying, we all been saying it wrong for so long?
No, you know what got me?
What?
Was Dormammu. Because I swear to God, my entire life, like reading comics, I called him Dormammu, and then all of a sudden they're like Dormammu, and I was like, I've been saying that wrong.
The funny thing is when you're reading something, you're like, I don't know, but then you'll hear other people say it, and I think I'm saying it right.
Okay, so this is like when I was reading A Song of Ice and Fire, Game of Thrones, before, like it was when season 1 of the show came out. I read all the books, and some of the names in that are so hard to pronounce. I'd come across, be like, you're Steve. Steve. Oh, hey, Bill. There you are again. And then I watched the show, and they're like Zanzarozaros, and I was like, oh. That's Bill. He'll always be Bill to me. But yeah, so we get things wrong a lot, I think is the moral of that story. But all right, guys, you have anything else you want to say about any topic at all?
I don't think so. Have we talked about everything we set out to talk about?
I think we did it.
We did.
Man, we did it
again.
We did it again, everybody. When we combine our podcast superpowers, we succeed.
Let our
folks.
powers combine.
Yes, we may not be super uber rich podcast millionaires or even super successful
or
but
even moderately
by golly,
successful.
Don't we succeed in doing podcast episodes like a bunch of champs?
You know what you can say is that we tried. That's
right.
what you can say.
Yes, we did it, you guys.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of the World's Greatest News and Reviews. If you enjoyed, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications.
Peace.
Tell you